Murder Drones is one of the most influential indie animated shows ever released on YouTube without a doubt, garnering millions and millions of views while creating a community full of fan art makers, shippers, and everything you see in your classic fandom. However, there is something to be said about this fandom, and it is that it could be toxic. Today in this video, I will be going through the most controversial things that has hit this fandom and deciding how toxic this fandom is. Now, I do have to say before I get into this video, however toxic the Murder Drones fandom is, should not influence your viewing of the TV show itself. Murder Drones is a great TV show, and the state of its community should not affect that. I have seen some people on the internet, even in my comment sections, talking about how they don't like Murder Drones because of the toxic fandom. Now, saying that you don't like a show because the community is bad is just not a good way to look at things such as TV shows or movies. There is obviously a level of toxicity a community can reach that will directly affect the show, especially if it's independent and close to the internet where people can interact with it. Two ways this could happen is where the community reaches such a large scale that the creators of the show slash TV show slash product they are obsessing over directly try to please the fans by feeding into this nightmare of toxicity in the community. Another way this could happen is where the community becomes so toxic and or so large that if you say anything slightly negative about it, then you completely get like wiped off the face of the earth. I would give an example, but then my comment sections would get spammed with bots, so I can't do that. Anyway, let's actually dive into the Murder Drones fandom as a whole, or the Murder Drones community. Now, thankfully, the community of Murder Drones isn't full of a lot of drama. Now, the only main piece of drama I actually will be talking about this video is the shipping. Now, shipping is a part of any community, especially with any community dealing with a movie or TV show franchise or series. However, there are levels of shipping that are just not allowed, such as pro shipping, which are ships that are not legal, such as underaged or anything of the sort. There are two sides of this sort of shipping war, one side being the N and V shippers. Now, if you don't know who that is while you're watching this video, this is about a Murder Drones, go watch the show, then come back to this. And the other side is N and Uzi. I actually did make a video about the N and Uzi relationship in the series, and although it's a bit outdated, I make some pretty good points in it, so, you know, go check out that video. But all you really need to know is that the N and Uzi relationship was originally considered a pro ship, a ship with one minor and one adult in the relationship. Now, that's kind of a big deal, especially when you're dealing with a show this small and this influential, especially in the beginning parts of the series. Now, although we know presently that the N and Uzi relationship isn't a pro ship with all the evidence shown over the past few years, or a couple years, I guess, back then we didn't know and didn't have a lot of pieces of evidence, so I'm going to start at the very beginning. Now, you may be asking yourself, well, how does all of this connect to like the toxic part of Murder Drones? I want to see whether Murder Drones is toxic or not, and I will get into that more towards the end of the video. However, this kind of connects because this shows like the insides and outs of the Murder Drones fandom slash community, so just you gotta stick with me here. So there were two sides, N and Uzi and N and V. These two sides didn't exactly get into that much of a fight until the third episode, or around the third episode. Now, there was a bit of unrest with people who were making fan art of the N and Uzi relationship. The people who posted the N and Uzi relationship fan art were sometimes harassed on Twitter, especially if they posted it on Twitter. However, it would reach a all-time high when episode 3 came out and N and Uzi's relationship really became a sort of possibility in the show. Third episode was the prom episode, as you hopefully know, and we really got to see more and more of Uzi's connection with N and how she feels. Despite this episode giving us more evidence that N and Uzi are the same era, around the same age, the shipping war got so large that it actually got the attention of Glitch Productions. More people were getting harassed on Twitter for posting their fan art, and basically a bunch of horrible things happened to some people. When episode 4 of Murder Drones was released, there was a line in that episode that clearly stated, or I'll just let it play out for you.
She's a kid, like us, V! What is wrong with you?
Now, you would have thought that this one line from N would have actually fixed the entire problem. However, it threw the fandom into a rage, at least the N and V shippers. It seemed more and more like Glitch Productions was leaning towards the N and Uzi ship. Now, if you watch episode 7, you know that's true. However, back then, people were accusing Glitch Productions for being pro shippers themselves, with lack of a better phrase. When episode 5 released, there was a sort of break in the sort of chaotic mess that was going on in the fandom. People were just trying to enjoy the show, and it cooled down a little bit. Basically, time took its toll for people to actually go back and rewatch and go see the small details, and some of the evidence that is so prominent today arose in the fandom, and the shipping war died down to a very low medium. Now, I would love for this chaos and drama to end at this point. Episode 5 was released, people actually gathered their wits and logic and actually realized that there's no point in arguing with this, and it's not a pro ship. However, episode 6 showed us that V sacrificed herself itself, making the V and N shippers extremely mad once again. Now, although this was a lower level of chaos than the pro ship allegations back when episode 3 was just released, it was still a big uproar in the community. People thought that the sacrifice was just to get rid of all the V and N shippers. But at the time, the show still had 2 more episodes left. Something could happen, V could come back. Then the Amazing Digital Circus was released. Now, although this didn't directly hurt the Murder Drones show or community/fandom, it did pull a little bit of attention away from Murder Drones. At least that's what it felt like. The Glitch X livestream that happened in November confirmed this for many people when the 7th episode of Murder Drones, along with the 8th episode that would be later delayed, was confirmed to be released in the spring of 2024. Now, this almost 6-month wait for Murder Drones was a huge hit to the community/fandom. Some people didn't like it, some people were fine with it, it didn't matter, it was still going to happen. Then there was silence. Nothing happened for a solid 6 months after that. There was some merch drops, some sneak peeks, but that was pretty much it. Until March happened. March 15th, 2024. I came home from school and logged onto my computer and saw that Glitch Productions had uploaded a sneak peek for episode 7 of Murder Drones. I watched the sneak peek, wondering what was going to happen, and what I saw rose my hopes up a lot. Everyone in the community was hoping that episode 7 would be a great episode. It had to be. If it didn't, the entire fandom and community would fall apart. Everything we've been waiting for the past 6 months would have been useless. It would have been a horrible episode after a horrible wait. It would have been horrible for the community and probably would have killed the show if episode 7 was bad. Then a week went by, and March 29th came, the release date for episode 7 of Murder Drones. Episode 7 was released. I watched the premiere, and it was probably one of, if not the best episode in the entire Murder Drones series. So episode 7 reunited the community, at least, parts of it, and was a great episode. It really showed off the quality of animation that Glitch Productions had been cooking up. So once again, the community or fandom of Murder Drones was at a very low, at least low in the chaos area, I guess. Now going back to the actual topic of this video, whether the Murder Drones fandom/community is toxic, after I've explained everything to you, the harassing on Twitter about the random ships in the show and how the community was mostly reunited for episode 7 and it now appreciates the show, hopefully. Is the Murder Drones fandom toxic? Now, I would really like to give some really cool philosophical answer like I did with my last video about comparing Murder Drones and the Amazing Digital Circus. However, the quick answer and real answer is that no, the Murder Drones fandom is not toxic. Yes, obviously there is a level of toxicity to any community/fandom. However, there's a level to toxicity for every community and fandom, so you can't really, single out Murder Drones like that. Anyway, like the video if you actually liked it, comment below anything I missed, stay tuned, and oh, hold on, someone's calling me. Yep. What do you mean you're outside my house? Oh shit.